I think you're muted still.
Muted. Welcome, everyone. Hi, I was muted earlier when I was talking. Hey, this is Kimberlon B, host of Under the Scope. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that those are on the way. I'm really excited because this is the holiday edition. It's the holidays, it's almost Christmas, it's almost the end of 2020, going into 2021. I could go on and on and on, but I'm so glad that you're here today at Under the Scope. Under the Scope is a scope cast that we have where we interview influential people on the planet and their skills, their knowledge, and best of all, their contribution to mental health awareness. I started the show in August and it has been have been going strong since. I've had some wonderful speakers thus far. I'm so excited that everyone that's come to Under the Scope because I myself, even though I'm the host, I've actually picked up so much knowledge along the way, and I'm grateful for everyone that comes to Under the Scope. So we come on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 Central Standard Time, and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I live, work in Phoenix, Arizona. I work with women, children, men, substance abuse, general mental health, you name it. I work with it and I will tackle it on. I will do whatever I can within my humanly power to help everyone reach their potential. So, just a few scope keeping rules before we move on. Any information discussed on Under the Scope is for inspirational, conversational, and educational purpose, and it does not substitute um, going to receive a higher level of care if necessary. If you need any resources wherever you're at, please be sure to inbox me, put something in the chat, or just go on to Google or contact your community source, whatever you may have in your own state. But also, this is a no judgment zone. Say what you want to say, how you want to say it, as long as it's not disrespectful to our speakers or to anyone that's in the group. We do have the chat feature. If you want to put any questions and comments, feel free. If you want to ask our speaker a question when they go under the scope, you can raise your hand or put your name and ask a question, and I can ask it for you. So I'm excited about this holiday edition. Yay! And so my last speaker that I brought on that's coming on at the end of the year, I'm so excited that she said yes. I've told everybody it's not a secret that I stalk people on Facebook and like, hey, can you come to the show? Can you come to the show? And I gave Candace an outline of like something that we talk about on Under the Scope, and she's like, "No, I don't know if I can come or if I have anything to share." And I'm like, "You have a lot that you can share," and I'm so glad that she said yes. Especially here on the holiday edition, because the first episode we talked about seasonal depression. Last week was hope and encouragement, and that was powerful. And I have Candace here who's going to give you the combo plate and guaranteed to give us something to really hold on to for Christmas cheer. And I called her segment a gift of hope. And once she shares her story, you'll see why I say the same thing. So without further ado, I have Kandice Jones here with me, or with you also today. I'm being selfish, sorry everyone. So Candice, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kandice Jones. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts. I am 29 years old. I work. I've only worked in the mental health field for about 2 years, but as I was telling Kim, I find it to be rewarding. But there are some days that are better than others, and we just learn how to cope with it and work together with it, and always, including our individuals that we work with in their treatment plans and different things like that. Because if we don't work together, then there's oftentimes some we always have to, collaborate and work together because we always want to be on the same page. Yeah, I'm just, if you haven't noticed already, I'm just a very bubbly person. I just love people and love to engage with people, but also helping people see the good in themselves when we live in a society that always focuses on the negative. So I get joy in doing what I do. And I don't know if you want me to go into my story yet or.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about, and I'm glad because I did notice your bubbly personality. And I think your story, sharing your story, will also let everyone else know why you have that bubbly personality.
Okay. So my story is a little lengthy, but I'll just try to share it as best as I can. And you guys, when the time comes, you guys are more than welcome to ask questions. But I was born with a twin sister, one being 2 pounds 5 ounces, the other one being 2 pounds 7 ounces. And when I was born, the doctor said I didn't receive enough oxygen to the brain enough oxygen to the brain. So they said that a portion of my brain had died, and they showed the portion of the brain that was dead to my parents, and they showed it and it illustrated it through an X-ray, and there was like a black spot that illustrated the part of the brain that was dead. So then, the doctors went on to say that I would not be able to talk, walk, comprehend, and things like that. So they diagnosed me with the diagnosis of cerebral palsy, and this is the diagnosis that controls like the motor skills, the talking, the leg movement, and all these things, and the brain functioning. And they just basically said that I would be in a vegetative state for the rest of my life. So I would just be existing and not living. But thanks be to God, He has made me to, be His miracle. And because of that, this is why I find it an honor to be able to share the gift of hope to people, because the doctors can say one thing, but then God says another. So we always have to, be strong in our faith and, continue to be who we are regardless of what people say, regardless of the reports that doctors give us, and things like that. I have um 3 degrees. I've just received my master's degree last year in clinical mental health counseling. I just Last month I just applied for my doctoral degree. I'm still waiting to hear the results of that, but God is has and is doing great things in my life, so I am grateful for that. And um yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I'm just so excited to be here and to be able to share my story with you all, to give you guys the as the topic is the gift of hope, regardless of what people say, regardless of what our surroundings say, regardless of whatever it is. God created us for a reason, and He created us in His image, and He all He wants us to do is to spread His love and joy around to everyone, because God is love, and this is what we're here and created to do.
And you know what? I like what you said, Candace, because I mean, that was like a word within this scope cast is where you said existing. And exist, just existing instead of living.
Yes, yes,
Did I say it right? I think
yes,
I did.
yes, yes,
That's huge because just like you were saying, I mean, the doctor's reports of what they were saying and all of this, making that choice to
yes.
live.
Yes, yes. And it hasn't always been easy, but the family that God has blessed me with, my parents and my siblings, they have been with me through every step of the way. There are moments where I'm alone, and sometimes I get lost in my thoughts, but what keeps me going is that, granted, the doctors gave one report, but I'm able to do the opposite. So that is what keeps me going. There are moments when I have moments, but I wouldn't be human if I didn't. So I allow myself those moments, and then I pick myself up and I pick up where I left off.
Wow. That is such a blessing. I wanted to ask you, so your twin, do you still have a twin?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I do
Okay.
have a twin. She's actually a second grade teacher. So we're in totally different fields, but we are working with people, and we have the same vision when working with people. We just want to focus on the good because of the fact that society in itself just focuses on what somebody can't do, or the judgment of somebody else and different things like that.
Did you face a lot of that judgment or that type of, talk like about what you can't do or
Oh
may not?
yes, yes. Definitely.
Share about that.
Yes. So as I had shared on the page where I found Kip, I had shared in my story that my my career journey has been it has been really heavy, and this is why one of the reasons why I'm grateful to be where I am today, because I faced discrimination. I faced those things. I faced where someone looks at you and they just see the outside, but they don't really know because they don't ask questions, so they create that prejudgment, and I've lost out on so many opportunities because of that. But I'm grateful for my faith, and I'm also grateful for my family and friends that continue to say that you can do this, you come too far to give up now, because there's many a times where I just wanted to say, you know what, that's it, I'm done trying. But because of the people who are in my corner and my parents, and just being strong in my faith, I continue to remain hopeful, and this is why I am where I am today. So I am grateful for that.
Wow. So for all the speakers that come on under the scope, I like to ask them because I love mental health. I'm a mental health advocate, and I
Yes.
know you are too. What is your definition of mental health?
My definition of mental health is being able to have, like, a clear vision of where you see yourself, and where you see how your attributes and qualities can help other people. And so when that begins to get clouded, we often hear that saying that, like, we're no good to someone if we don't take care of ourselves. So when that vision becomes clouded and we can no longer see the vision, it's up to us to take the time back, to take the time out and be able to step back and say, hold on, I need a second to regroup, to recharge, whatever the case is.
Yes, I like that. So I love that definition of mental health. So on your journey and throughout your journey, did you have any like mental health struggles?
I personally didn't have mental health struggles throughout this whole thing. But what got me into mental health is that my grandmother is she is diagnosed with schizophrenia. And when before coming into this field, I didn't understand why she would do the things that she would do, or why she would act the way she acted. And I would get frustrated because as a little girl, all I want is my grandma. And I'm like, to me, when I didn't understand it, I would always say, my grandma's acting weird. My grandma's acting weird. And because I didn't understand, um, before getting into this field, I would get frustrated because all I wanted was my grandma. But just being able to be in this field and seeing a wide range of things that people go through helps me to understand my grandmother. And when she needs her time, I understand that she needs her time. Whereas before, like, I would get upset because she didn't want to be around me.
Hmm.
Yeah, so not me personally dealing with mental health, but you know, my grandma who I'm really close with, battling that as well.
Wow. So with that, with your grandmother dealing, with what she was dealing with, was the family like supportive, or as
Yes,
far as her
very
getting treatment?
very supportive of her getting treatment. Sometimes my grandma was stubborn, so she would shy away from the treatment, but we always, helped her to understand that it was for her best, and we had her best interest at heart. And like I said, now being in this field, I've only been in it for such a short time, but I've learned so much, and I'm still learning so much. And just to be patient with her. And sometimes I still find that my siblings or my mom or my dad gets frustrated with her, and I'm able to encourage them and then to enlighten them that everything takes time, and she'll come around when she's ready to come around.
Mm-hmm. I always like to ask that question, especially when we have a family member, because of some of the challenges I see with the clients in the counseling room. Like, I didn't want to come because my family say we don't do therapy, or we
Yeah.
don't, all of that.
The stigma around it is
Yes.
it's so bad. And even if we were to look at it as part of the religious piece of it, a lot of religious people say that they tell us to go to God, but the way I think about it is that God is the creator of everything. So he puts things in place for us to use them. So that's my own take on it. I'm not against anybody else's how they look at it or anything, but I just wanted to share that God created everything and he does it in order. So if it's there, he provided it for us. So we should use.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. So do you have any like resources or any social media where people can find you? Any like good events that you would like to share with us?
I am on Facebook. You can find me at Kandice E Jones, and it's Candice with a K. It's a little different than most spell their name Candice. It's Kandice E Jones. I'm also on Instagram at Candice. Let me think of my Instagram name. Um, Candice. I have to get back to you guys on my Instagram name, but I will put it if you guys find me on my Facebook page. I will put it on my Facebook page, and you guys can find me on Instagram as well. Um, I I started like maybe about maybe in October. I started like a little like fashion kind of business. I like fashion and things like that, and it's called Candy Glam. So I just um not only do I sell things like whether it be earrings or headbands or anything like that, but I also give like when I sell the product, I give little inspirational wristbands. So it'll say something like when you purchase an item, it'll say something like "Be strong, be brave," or something of that nature. So my ultimate goal is to be able to inspire people in whatever way I can. So I try to incorporate all the things that I'm into one kind of thing.
Wow, you do a lot. You do more than I thought.
I also what else about me? Enjoy I also like to sing. So before COVID happened, I would sing at different events, whether it be church or the whatever I was needed for. And again, that I'm grateful for that because in that before I sing a song or whatever, I'm able to share my testimony as well.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. You do any virtual singing?
I do. From time to time, not all the time I do, but I know I should start now because I think that we will be in this virtual situation for a little while longer. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So, awesome. So, being in the field, have you found like, of course, like numerous opportunities to where you can give people like the gift of hope?
Yes, yes, definitely. I've assisted a lot of people who were on the road to suicide, and I always say that I am honored whenever I'm given the opportunity to talk someone out of that, and to shift their way of thinking and things like that. So I have come across that now more than ever, given the holidays and things like that. People get lost in their thoughts, and most of them are alone and they don't have anybody, so they think that the only way to solve whatever they're dealing with is to end their lives. And I'm able to, speak life into them and speak life back into them, and they kind of change their way of thinking and shift their way of thinking. So I'm grateful for that.
Nice. I know I have that on my shirt, as a matter of fact. Speak life.
Oh wow, yes, 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 yes.
Exactly. So I find that to be just so essential. Like you said, even now, during the holidays and sometimes after the holidays, and I think during the year of 2020, this has actually been the year where we've probably had to speak life more than anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where taking care of ourselves comes into play, because we give and give and give, and those people who are, like I said, at the road to wanting to end their life, we work hard to, continue to speak life into them. And sometimes, to be honest, that can be draining. So that's why it's important that we do, when the time is right and when we feel that it's right, to step back and to recharge, into so that we are able to pour back into them.
Exactly. And that piece of advice probably can go for anyone that's a non-therapist as well, and
Absolutely.
engaging in self-care
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
recognizing our limits
Hmm.
too,
Hmm.
to not overextend ourselves.
And
So,
before like I got to where um I am now, I would always feel bad when somebody asked me to do something, and I would always say yes, because I was afraid of, like, I don't want to disappoint the person. I don't invite If I said no, the person would be mad at me or whatever the case is. But sometimes we have to learn to make no a part of our vocabulary, because if we don't, we will run empty really quick, and then we won't be any good to ourselves or anybody else. So if you haven't made no as a part of your vocabulary, I strongly suggest that you do, because it's only for our good.
right. All right. So, yeah, I already got some questions coming into the chat. Before we get ready to go under the scope, Candice, can you give us a gift of hope? This is the bonus question. Any words
A
that you would like to say to everyone that's attending?
What I will say is, like I've been saying, it's just to continue to be who you are, and continue to be who God created you as an individual to be. If He wanted us all to be the same, He would have made us as such. So you are unique, and continue to work in your uniqueness.
Nice. I like that. I think that's been a common thread throughout the month of December
Oh
about
yeah.
being authentic, being you.
Yes, yes, yes. Just continue to work in your uniqueness, because God made us with all unique qualities, and some are different, but we can use our uniqueness to touch others. So I encourage you just to work in your uniqueness and be who you are, and be comfortable with who you are, because the Creator made us and He does not make any mistakes. and be confident in that.
Nice. I like that. We're getting ready to go under the scope. We're getting ready to take Candice under the scope, everyone. I do have some questions. Candice, before you go under the scope, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't. I don't. Again, as I keep saying, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with you all and to be able to share my authentic self with you all. It's just an honor to be here, and I'm glad to be here.
Can I just say before you go under the scope, I mean, even when I read your story, I didn't know about the twin piece. So I am like just honored that you came on under the
Yes,
scope to share your story.
yes, yes. I'm honored to be here.
Yes. All right. So we're going under the scope. And so I'll go into the chat and everyone feel free to, raise your hand. So your first question is, on a scale from 1 to 10, what is the most extreme case you've handled? Like it's
Um,
in in therapy.
um, I would have to say, as I shared before, helping someone, talking someone out of suicide, basically. Because before, when I've dealt with this, I'm like, oh my goodness, I've never dealt with this. What am I gonna say to this person to kind of steer their thoughts in another way? But I again, I trusted in who I am. I trusted the things that I was taught, and I began to just speak life into that person.
Okay. The follow-up question is, have you ever felt like you couldn't help anyone?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's funny you asked that question because I just got a new client that I am working with, and this particular client has a background that I've never dealt with before. So I'm like, I am 29 years old. This person is in their 50s. I can't say nothing to this person um that will change their way of thinking or steer their thoughts in another direction. So I completely doubted myself right then and there. But I am maybe like in the seventh session with this person, and she continues to reassure me that she's had several therapists in the past, and she continues to reassure me that I have helped her in so many ways. And just the first few sessions, then her other therapist has helped her in one session. So I do appreciate that.
All right, awesome. All right, so Candace is open for any other questions, comments.
Yes, it has absolutely been a pleasure to be
And
here with y'all.
let's see. Anyone have anything they would like to share? We have a quiet group today. Oh, hey,
Hey, Kim.
Mika.
Hello, Candice.
Hi.
Okay, so coming from a different aspect, so like I'm a certified pharmacy technician, and I was laid off due to COVID around March, I think May, and
Okay.
so I want to try to get back in that field a little bit before I lose it. And so one of the hospitals up here in the Dallas area that has a position open is a hospital that deals with um, patients with mental health. And so I seen this position last night, and I'm reading about the hospital, the services they provide, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I could be around those people, or I don't know if I would make a difference to them or not. So do you think as a pharmacy technician that would make a difference for those patients for that type of
Yes,
field?
yes, because let me I'm gonna back up a little bit. I the way I came about the job that I am in now is that I was pursuing my graduate degree, and I needed an internship. And of course, I needed it in the field of mental health. And so I found the internship. That's one thing that I hated too, is that they left us on our own to find our internship. And I was just, I was floored. I was frustrated. It was a long road for that too. And so I found an internship, and the my supervisor, who is my supervisor now, he called me and he said that he was interested in having me as an intern for the job. So the moment I went in, it was my first day on the internship. The moment I went in, and I literally, like, my jaw dropped, because I saw the population and I said, how in the world am I going to make a difference to these people? These people are like in their 60s. I'm only like in my 20s. I don't have nothing to say to these people, but I went in with that attitude. And like I shared before, like, these people have constantly told me how much of a difference I've made in their life. So we really don't know. We can't count ourselves out, because we don't know. We don't know. One word can help somebody. One sentence can help somebody. A mouthful of words can help somebody. We just don't know. A smile can help somebody. So we don't know. So don't count yourself out.
Okay, thank you. Because like I know, like should I get the job, walking down the halls or passing by a room, or something, I might run across a patient or two, and it's just like, well, how would I handle that? Would I make a
I know
difference to them or
exactly
not?
what you mean.
So
I
yeah.
know. Like I said, I went in my first day of my internship, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna get my hours done and I'm out of here. That was my plan. Like, I'm just gonna get my hours done for school and I'm out of here. I just came here to do one thing. And my last day of my internship, I got called into, who is now my supervisor, um, into the office, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Usually, like, when he wants to talk to me, he'll talk to me with the door open. And this particular time, he called me into the office and he asked me to close the door. And I'm like, what the heck did I do? Did I do something? So I closed the door and he was like, I just wanted to ask you before you go, would you like to stay with us? Like, the clients, they enjoy you, they enjoy your energy, they just love to be around you. And I'm asking for myself, as the person who runs the facility, would you be willing to stay with us? And I did. And again, I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about the field of mental health. So I would say, don't count yourself out.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll go ahead and submit that application.
Yes, yes, please, please, please. Because again, we never know. Like I keep saying, like, I had no idea. My plan was to just finish my hours for school so I could graduate and be done.
Right.
And God had another plan for me, so I'm grateful for that.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone like to share or have a question? Oh, okay. So we had someone in agreement, and we also awesome, Candice. You are amazing and so
Thank,
inspiring. Thank you.
thank you
That's what
so much.
Kathy said. I was just thinking because and apologies if I asked it before, that
No problem.
existing to live, and even on your journey, and you said that there was times that you felt like giving up. When did um when did it kick into full gear, like, no, I can do this and I'm going to do this? When did that happen for you?
It happened more in my teenage years. Maybe I would say around like 18, 19 years old, to where I really said, okay, um, I am given this obstacle, so I could either use it to sob in it or to say, woe is me, or I can use it as a tool to help somebody else. And it wasn't until like I said, 18 or 19, where I made the conscious decision that I was going to use this as an opportunity to build someone else's confidence or what have you.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone like to share anything? Any comments? Any questions?
Hey there. How
Hi.
you
Hey.
doing? Thank you
Good.
so much, Candice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm removed. I have different things going on here, but I wanted to just. I have a lot going on, y'all, when I do Zoom. But I wanted to say thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Um, I can relate so much. I was 20 years old when I lost my mother, and I had recently got married, and I was okay. I was being a strong person for everybody, my other eight siblings. And I never took the moment of the time to accept it. I
Mhm.
just went on smiling, moving, helping my dad, being there for everybody else. But 6 months after my mom passed, which was just a shocker, I left her heading to work. She was assistant that I was about to buy a leather coat. I was living in Birmingham at the time. And she said, "Here, take this money." She gave me $100 bill. I said, "Mom, I get a check, my first check today at the hospital. I'm fine." And she said, "No, I want you to have it." And I'm like, "Okay, I ain't gonna turn that down with my collar." So and she did breakfast, fixed breakfast, and was doing fine. By lunchtime, I got a one of the charge nurses came over and said, "You got a call to come home." And I said, "They want you to come home." And I'm like, "My father dropped me off because I wasn't driving at the time." And
Mhm.
I said, "I'm not driving." They said, "Well, another nurse gonna take you home." And I said, "Well, I thought maybe my dad may have gotten an accident
Mhm.
because he was taking me to work and he was dropping me off, going to work." But that wasn't the case. My mom had a heart attack
Oh
and
wow.
passed away immediately, and that took the breath out of me. I mean, I was okay then, but I did not grieve, you
Mhm.
know. And some of my best friends' mother said, "Kathy, you need to slow down and you need to grieve." I didn't understand that what it was talking about because I thought I was okay. I thought I was fine. But
Mhm.
6 months later, I lost it.
Mhm.
I mean, when I tell you mentally and physically, I lost it to the point that it was coming up to my birthday, and my family was trying to encourage me, and I was so low, I couldn't hear nobody. I was done. My brothers, it was some steps to go to my aunt's house where they was giving me like a surprise birthday. I
Mhm.
couldn't even walk out the car. They had to lift me, pick me up, my brothers, and carry me in the house and sit me down. And I was just there. And so I went to around that time. I did not want to. I just was not there mentally. So they did get me. I went to counseling, went to a therapist. That helped me slowly get back, but I still was like at a crash mode. And
Mhm.
I laid in the bed at one moment where my sisters was coming to my house every day. Every other day, it was taking turns taking care of me. And I was married at the time, but we had a business. They was washing clothes, taking care of me, trying to pray over me. I was just there. I wouldn't snap out of it. Then I laid down in bed and I don't want to be here. I just want to be with my mom. I want to die. And I was at that point that they couldn't give me nothing to eat. They couldn't tell me that. I was hearing that. But I'm going to tell you about a God.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you about this God that I serve,
Mhm.
that he spoke to me. And if it went for me hearing that voice from God telling me, "Would your mama want you like this? Is this how she wants you to be? I have more for you to do."
Mhm.
As he began to speak to me, And I'm like, coming back to myself, like, you being selfish.
Mhm.
Your sisters have husbands, but they coming over here to take care of your house and watching over you and your husband. And you need to kind of work this thing out. So I had to
Mhm.
begin to pray and shake my and listen to them. Because I had shut everybody out and didn't understand,
Mhm.
that I was grieving so hard that instead of me grieving in the beginning, it caught me and took me for a loop in the end. So even in
Mhm.
this season of COVID, and I've been dealing with I lost three spiritual mothers in a week and a half, y'all. In a week and a half. Two in Arizona and one in Birmingham. And I think I hate I had to go through that early, but I thank God I did because I know how to help people now. And that's
Mhm.
why what you're saying is so inspiring because God set you up for a time as this to be able to help people right now in this season. So sometimes we want to give up. I mean,
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
I can feed myself, I can bathe myself, I can do that for myself. I didn't want to change clothes. I didn't want to take a bath. I couldn't even look up to pray.
Mhm.
I was just
Mhm.
done. Didn't care.
Mhm.
But because I had people that cared enough to look past myself and my issue
Mhm.
and my
Mhm.
depression, that I was able to look up again and live again. So what you say matters. I don't care what
Absolutely.
position people are in. What you say, your
Mhm.
words have power and they change and they move. And it could be a word right there when that person needed. Just like one of the mothers, I was going through a situation in Arizona and in a big mega church, I was over some stuff in a 10-year domestic violence issue relationship. But this one mother spoke life, just like you said, into me.
Mhm.
And it allowed me and gave me confirmation it's time to move to the next level. It
Mhm.
was time for
Mhm.
me to level up. It was time for me to rise and shine. This season, this chapter of the book was over, and God was giving me an okay to move on. So thank you for being inspiring. Kim, Kimberly, thank you for the platform that allows us to share our story
Thank
and
you.
to encourage others that we're going to make it.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
going to make it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
I love it. I
Thank you
love
for
it.
sharing that. That was
Yes.
a blessing to me. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I got you got another kudo. I love to read them. Thank you, for sharing your testimony. I am inspired to share it with our family for growth. You are a blessing.
Thank you.
That's from
Thank you.
Sister Yvonne. Let me see, and another. Thank you, Candice, for sharing your story. Keep spreading the love. It's so inspiring.
Thank you so much.
And it's so inspiring to me also to just shift from just existing to living. That stuck with me. That I like that. I think I said it the opposite way. I probably said it 5 different ways, but
It's all right. I know what you mean. It's all right. It's all right.
yes, just instead of just existing, I choose to live. So
Mm-hmm.
then if you choose to live, you can speak life
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to
Absolutely.
others.
Absolutely.
Uh, I have a question, Candice, and anyone else who probably possibly want to share as well. What is the proper way to grieve? This person lost their mother earlier this year.
Um, I myself don't think that there's a lot of times people say that there's a time limit to grieving, but I don't believe that there is a time limit to grieving. I believe when you are ready to say, okay, I'm gonna pick myself up and I'm gonna continue to move on, that is your time for your grieving to end. But there's no time limit, and I don't believe that there is a quote unquote proper way to grieve, as long as it's healthy and it helps you to kind of process it. I think that there is no proper way to grieve. And anyone else who wants to answer that question.
Absolutely. I wanted to share. I was 20 then. I'm 2 weeks, I'll be 48 years old. And I'm still if you're a believer or not, the word of God said Jesus will. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell you, it's gonna be times that I'm fine and I'm in my mode and I'm doing my thing. But it's still times I will lay in the bed and I'll cry for my mom because I miss her. And everybody is different, but I would say it's okay to weep. It's okay to think and reflect, but don't stay there.
Hmm.
Just don't stay there. Just try to get yourself up and think on good things and those good moments that you do have. But it's a process. And like I said, it's that every holiday, every birthday, every special moment, it's a reminder. But I think on the good things, and I said, what would she want? I honor her now with my life. She was a servant, she served others. So I enjoy serving others. So we
Hmm.
have to think on those good things and keep moving forward. But everybody agreed differently, and I'm
Absolutely.
not going to say it's going to be overnight. I have my moments. It may be once every 6 months, or maybe once a year, or 3 times a year. But I reflect to get in that place. But I just think on her life and how much I love her and how much I want to see her again, you know. And
Absolutely.
so it's okay because mothers they irreplaceable, you
Hmm.
know. So just celebrate the good life, the good things, I would
Absolutely.
say.
Absolutely. My father, he was the same age as you when he lost his mom. So it's June of next year will be 30 years my dad lost his mom, and my grandma was a servant and things like that. She passed away unexpectedly in her sleep, and it still kind of bothers me because she passed away before I was born. So I never even got a chance to meet her. But you couldn't tell me I don't know my grandma because they made sure that her memory lived on and that they kept her memory alive. Until this day, they keep her memory alive. So you can't tell me I don't know my grandma. And when people try to say that, I'll look at you like you got three heads because I know who my grandma is.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's all about keeping that person that you have lost or has went on alive. Yes, they're dead physically, but you can keep them alive in their spirit.
I like that. Anyone else? Okay, this has actually been powerful, Candace. And again, I'm so glad that you came on Under the Scope with this gift of hope. I mean, just sharing your story is just powerful.
Thank you.
That's why I was glad that you said yes. I mean, to even hear it, because when we encounter different things, it can be simple things, or we're so ready to give up.
Hmm.
But then
Hmm.
even you sharing your story with anyone about, I mean, from birth until now, to where you just kept going and choosing to live so you can speak life. And not only, it didn't even stop there, but you decided, I wanted to get into a field so I can speak life and spread that to others. That
Hmm.
is phenomenal.
Thank you.
That is. And I just appreciate you coming, giving us that gift of hope.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure just being here and to be able to hear from different ones and to be able for you guys to have your ears and your heart open to my story is very I'm honored and I'm just excited and I know that God is he's not done with me and I will continue to keep you guys on my journey for as long as I can. So if you guys, follow me on Facebook or what have you, I post a lot of like inspirational stuff. Sometimes I'm silly too, so you'll see a lot of stuff that you probably laugh at because I like to laugh and I just like to have a good time because that's what life is all about.
Yes, that's good. I'm so glad. And I'm glad that you shared it here. And I know, and I want to thank everybody else for coming here and everyone who's come to Under the Scope in this year's, since August, when you come when you can. I deeply appreciate that. And I hope the speakers that they blessed me so much, and I hope that you see them as a gift of hope for you in your own lives, and spread the word about it. And this is the last show of 2020. We'll be back in 2021, but under the scope, and I thank God for that because of everyone else that said yes. So I hope everyone else is just getting fed like I'm getting fed.
Yeah, this has been beautiful. So beautiful.
Yes. Yes, and Candace, I definitely will be keeping in touch. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right, I know I was gonna put you on spot to sing, but I'm not. I was gonna say sing us some Christmas cheer, but but thank you again for coming. Thank everybody else for coming. Cause like I say, if there was no you, there'd be no me. So I appreciate you gratefully. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay
Yes,
safe. It's interesting how we have to throw in stay safe.
yes,
Um,
yes.
enjoy your family. I mean, utilize this time to spend time with, even if it's small families, spend time, play games. I know Pastor Kathy talked about that on Sundays. Download the app House Party. And is it House Party? I think, right? Oh, I think to
Yes, it's house party. My family like Uno because that's what everybody loves. And you can add people, Zoom people in, and just start playing games. Just add them. But the name of it, the app is House Party. It's other games, but like I said, Uno is our favorite. And I'm in Alabama, but I connect with my daughter in Arizona and different
Oh,
other friends, and we get on and just play.
Yeah, see, that'll be
Yeah,
good. Yeah. Spend
yeah,
that time with family, even if we can't get together in large quantities, play games. Just enjoy each
mm,
other's company. So I
yes,
love each and every one of you. Thank you for supporting me on Under the Scope. We'll be back January 2021, where good tea and reads are welcome. I love you all. Thank you.
love
bye.
you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Love
Thank
you
Bye. Thank
you.
too.
you.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks.
Candy. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Thank you. Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.